Hey, welcome to the show, guys. I'm excited that you guys are here today. We have a special guest with us. If you are looking for improving your mobility, improving your just general life, and you've had some injuries that are now, kind of causing some issues as far as flexibility and movement around and all that stuff, well, we have a great guest for you today. Alan Barb, right, is with us today from Whole Strength Physical Therapy. He's got a unique way of how they do business, and he's going to let us in some insights. If you've gone the whole physical therapy route before, and you kind of weren't getting the results that you were wanting to get, Alan's got some great insight on that and can help you with that. And I'm excited for the show today. So, Alan, with that being said, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. What made you get into this field, right?
Yeah, kind of, grew up playing sports, was always kind of an athlete and enjoyed that. As I got a little older in high school, I was, not the biggest guy, but wanted to play linebacker. So spent a lot of time in the gym, kind of bulking up and getting bigger. So really kind of got into fitness and doing things there, and really kind of saw how that could change my body and change, all my friends from little scrawny freshmen into big seniors and
right.
So really kind of got into fitness there and kind of wanted to pursue that and get into healthcare, and so it seemed like a really good fit for me.
Nice.
Moving forward. So don't have tore my ACL and did physical therapy all of high school story like a lot of PTs, but
right.
But a little different story, and kind of got into it and have kind of really enjoyed it and love diving into everything about the body, really.
Yeah, so the body, interesting fact, I started out in kind of that field, kinesiology, exercise science, health science. That was my double major. And I learned a lot about the body and learned a lot about what it can do, how it operates. I lifted a lot. When I got to my senior year in high school, I started lifting, and then all the way through college. And that was a lot of fun. So I got to see a lot of transformation and learn movements and learned, how to increase strength, posture, all that stuff, right? And inevitably, when playing football in college, you get hurt, right? And so I was always at the physical therapy, right? Well, physical therapy within the trainer's office, because
right.
you got to rehab these little things. And the reasons why we get injured are because there are other things in our body that aren't strong, and parts of our body have to compensate for things. So, I was always in there, man. Ice tubs, do this, do that. I always had bad ankles. And then imagine, after I started training my ankles, I would sprain my ankle all the time. But after I started training my ankles with, just different drills and exercises, oh wow, my ankles, I stopped rolling them.
Yeah.
Right? And which was crazy.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people look at, the strength training and go, I just don't want to get muscled up. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to look like those, and women especially, they don't want to look like those women bodybuilder and look manly. And I think a lot of health, wealth, and just everything about feeling good about the body has to do with muscle structure. I think a lot of the problems that we're having are due to muscle structure. We sit down all the time. We're not active. We don't move. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, we're Whole Strength, we got strength in the name. So that's kind of a big, part of what we do and what we really think is important for health. We kind of take an approach of fitness is healthcare. Mm-hmm. And that's really what we really kind of preach to our patients. So a lot of them, maybe were fit or like had, athletic aspirations when they're younger and maybe not there at this point, or maybe they are still kind of trying to do things and just running into issues. And a lot of times it is like little kind of picking out where they might have some imbalances or some strength loss. And I mean, our goal is, really keep people in the game so that they can live the life that they want to and really have that long-term foundation of health, which we think a lot of that does come down to muscle and fitness and really like staying active through their lifetime.
What do you see the people that have the most problems, right? After an injury, pick an injury, I don't care. The people who have the most problems, the longest recovery times, do they have like commonalities with that?
Yeah, I mean, pain is very multifactorial. So like it's like you might have what you would say a common ankle sprain for one person that they walk it off and they're fine in a week. That takes 6 months for someone else. So I mean, there's definitely common things that we see that can kind of lead to that. I mean, there's definitely, we see that with people with other conditions. Even mental health issues can kind of play a role in that. Okay. That's where I think there's a lot of different factors, and like that's a lot of times something that we'll see. I do think, people that tend to do best are people that are like kind of working through injuries and trying to kind of find ways to work around it. I think, people that push it too much, I always say is like, there's challenges with that as well, but right. I would rather have somebody that's pushing it too much than someone that really doesn't want to push it at all.
And what do you mean by pushing it too much and then not pushing it? Is there like a threshold of like how much pain you're supposed to like feel?
Yeah.
Is it like no pain, no gain type stuff, or what? Explain that.
So that's the no pain, no gain's not, not something that we preach, but I mean, there is like a fine balance between like, not pushing that point of any discomfort versus like, pushing too much and just kind of keeping things flared up. So yeah. A lot of times we'll talk to people about like, and this is kind of a generalization, but something that we use for a lot of different conditions is like, if we're seeing with an activity, you're doing it, no pain, likely, fine, you can kind of continue doing whatever you're doing. Right. If we're seeing some mild to moderate pain, what happens during that activity? Does it get worse and worse? Does it build up? Does it stay the same or get better? Mm-hmm. So that's likely okay as well, versus something that's, pretty severe pain or something that's increasing as you do it. Right. And then we also like to see just kind of like what happens the next day. Do you recover within a day? Like if it gets back down to baseline, that's something that we think is most of the time going to be something that's okay to continue to do. And that's how we really guide people to continue to stay moving through injuries and through pain, because a lot of times part of the rehab is doing those activities again, and most of the time it's really hard to get back to doing activities without kind of facing a little bit of that discomfort. So right. And kind of pushing that envelope, but doing it in a way that you can recover from it. Right.
Yeah, my dad had his rotator cuff surgery, and he was just like, man, it still hurts, and this was only a couple months afterward. I was like, it's gonna hurt. Yeah. It's gonna hurt for a while, like that. I had my rotator cuff surgery, and I remember it was excruciating pain. But I was able to push it, and when I say pain, it was like it would pain for a second and then go away. Then if I get it back to that point again, it would like not be as bad. So I knew I was like, okay, I'm not, causing harm per se, but I'm pushing it and dealing with it, and to the point where I'll almost like, not necessarily crying, but like there's tears in the eyes because it hurts so bad, just to get it in this movement or get it in that movement, or really like feel like a stinger during football where it's like you just drop your arm and you couldn't do anything.
And that's, I think a lot of times that's like people have that perception of physical therapy is right. It's gonna be painful.
Right.
I mean, we do things and really like communicate with our patients so that as we're doing things, we want to keep it as comfortable as possible. And we, we use techniques and other things to make the exercises or the treatment as comfortable as possible. So, I mean, there's, again, sometimes you got to push on that a little bit. And I like to tell people sometimes just like, we want to knock on that door. We're not like pushing it through that, but we just want to kind of knock on that and get to that point. And a lot of times we see if we're doing it right, it does feel a little bit better afterwards and kind of getting to that point again. So,
well, it just gave me affirmations like, okay, it's gonna get better, you know, because those first couple weeks were rough. It was really painful, and as soon as those pain pills wore off, man, that first couple nights,
that's one of the worst.
Sleeping on the
worst
couch,
rehabs we see.
Just like, man, this really hurts. But we were talking about on the show, right? You're not an in-network provider, right? You're not an in-network physical therapist office. Why?
Yeah, I mean, the main reason is, I mean, I worked in network practices. I mean, there's great physical therapists there, and people do get great outcomes at practices like that. I've personally just had seen where there are limitations to that, and I saw where there were people that I could help, and because of the limitations that insurance placed on what we could do, we weren't really able to help them.
So you're kind of handcuffed with different things that could provide, benefit to the client, right? But you weren't able to do that because of the insurance providers and the contracts that you guys have signed with them.
Correct. Yeah. So we're kind of, a little bit handcuffed by what we can do. Say like someone comes in with a running injury, and something that, they really love to do. So a lot of times, insurance doesn't really care if you can run. So they might give you like 2 sessions to get that person better, where, you can get them better if you had the time and the ability to work with them at the proper capacity, but they don't allow you to do that.
So insurance is just basically getting you guys, when I say you guys, the listeners and anybody who's taken physical therapy, back to, I just want you to be able to walk, go to work, and complete that task. They're not trying to give you a better life. They're not trying to like, hey, we know if you did X, Y, and Z, then we could get you back to where you are. They're just trying to get you to have no pain, walk out the door, and that. And I think a lot of people don't know that. Right? A lot of people don't know, there's other things that I could do to get better.
Yeah. And I think it's, a lot of people, go through that route and they think, okay, well, this is kind of what I have to live with. This is like, I tried physical therapy. It got me this far, but that's kind of where it's at, where I think, getting out of pain, getting back to baseline is kind of, step one for us, where we see like much more progress that can be made after that, and working at the right capacity, which is, it looks a little more like strength training. It looks a little bit more like conditioning, things that you might be doing in the gym. And I think that also just allows people, to kind of get to a higher level and kind of move past that baseline, which, is not really possible in a when insurance is involved. So so if they're doing that just on it, makes me go into the whole medical industry and what are they really actually trying to do? The more I'm into it, the more I kind of believe more in the holistic side of things, the more, the diets, the food that we're eating. I mean, I'm sure that plays a part in recovery. Yeah, absolutely. And that's, we touched a little bit earlier about commonalities in recovery and what we see for people that might take longer. That's certainly something we talk about, is nutrition and sleep and all these other factors that play into that. Because we can get you stronger, we can do all these things, but if you're sleeping 4 hours a night and your diet is not great, we're missing a lot of what's going to get you better.
Because the gym, what's the statistic? 20% is the gym. 80% is the diet and how you treat your body. We got to look at this, guys, as a machine. You don't run your car without fuel or oil or tune-ups, right?
Right.
Like that's just like general maintenance. That's what you got to do. I mean, your body is a better machine than a vehicle is. So like the correct food that we're putting it in there, the correct exercises, keeping it active. You don't let a car sit out there for years and then try to get it going again and expect it to run great. You're going to have some issues. Same thing with the body, right?
Yeah,
you're not going to be
absolutely.
sedentary for, a couple years and then go, oh, I need to get back in shape. Go out and run.
Yeah.
Think running is going to get you back in shape, and now you've got shin pain or your knees hurt. Well, there's a reason why, and I mean that's because our muscles aren't strong enough.
Yeah.
We've been sitting there for the whole time, but now we gotta strengthen our stuff back up.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you're absolutely right. And I think a lot of times, people maybe have fallen out of exercise, or like maybe they've been, been kind of into the gym earlier in their life, and life gets busy, it's hard, but you get back to it and something hurts, and you go to the doctor and they're like, it's wear and tear, you got to stop doing that. And it's like we kind of have a little different approach where it's like, no, let's take a step back, let's prepare your body for it, and let's get back to doing these things and do more, because that's what's going to help you to live a more fulfilled life.
I think there's a pill for everything out there. They really make one for everything. And we got to stop. I think we got to stop taking the easy pill.
Yeah.
Like it's work. Life's work. Everything's work. Right?
Yeah.
Anything that I have a buddy. He's got 3 kids. He loves to go camping and pack up the camper, and they live out in Utah, and they go do all these like cool things. And he goes, "What? You know what? Fun's hard work."
Yeah.
and it is, but so is everything else. Like you got to plan, you got to pack, you got to do all these things, but you'll do that, but you won't do, you won't go out and heck, you don't even have to run. Go walk for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
When you're on the phone calls, this is what I do. I go walk when I'm on phone calls.
Yeah.
That way I can get steps in. I can stay active. I'm not sitting at my desk. I'm keeping my body moving. I was bad. I played college football, left there, went to the University of Memphis as a graduate assistant, strength conditioning coach, left there, went as a personal trainer, right? And I was a personal trainer. I was in great shape.
Yeah.
Phenomenal shape, right? And then I got into business. And, the hours putting in, I'm sitting at a desk, I'm on the phone, I'm doing all this stuff, and I put on the weight. I lost the muscle, I wasn't working out, and because I didn't prioritize, right? Well, I did prioritize, I just prioritized different things.
Other things, yeah.
Right? But then, I'm getting ready to turn 40, and it's like, man, no. Last year I made a decision, I got my blood work done, and it was horrible. And testosterone was low, stress levels were high, all that stuff. I was like, and guess what I'm not doing? I'm not eating good, and I'm not working out.
Yeah.
So I started changing those things and changing the aspects of what's going on in my body, and now I feel way better. I still have stress, but my body is like taking it easier.
Yeah, and that's, like you said, like, you got to kind of choose those things, and it's not easy. It's hard work to do that. But it's, it's how you feel doing that. And you got to, kind of use the like, you got to choose your hard. Like, so is it going to be like, dealing with chronic conditions, or like, pushing yourself so that you can, live a healthy life? So
I met a lady yesterday who was 71. Frail. Like she probably weighed 70 pounds.
Yeah.
Bent over, barely getting around. Not in great shape. Then I look at my uncle who's 77, and he's skiing down Black Diamonds and I go skiing with him.
Yeah.
And he's skiing everything I'm skiing.
Yeah.
Better. Right. And we're having a blast, and I'm looking at like, all right, the lifestyles that we choose to live.
Yeah.
That goes comes back into what you do. Like you got to be strong. You got to have this. You got to be able to move. Like that's the lifestyle. You can pick your heart, just like you said. You could be 71, sitting in a chair just waiting to die.
Yeah.
Or you could be 77, still living life, having a blast. Which one am I going to choose? I'm going to be 77. But I ask him what he does. Well, I eat this way. I do this. I work out.
Yeah.
It's decisions that we have in life. But going on to physical therapy, it's, you're that step afterwards of the physical therapy, or come to you directly, right? But you're not in network, but you're going to be able to get those people up and going. Even if people are doesn't necessarily have to have a surgery. You're just having issues with knees and your back or this and that, right?
Yeah. I mean, we see people for, like lower back pain, shoulder pain, knee pain. I mean, sometimes we see people with all of the above, So, but I mean, it's we kind of take people from that state, and a lot of the people we see are pretty active in doing things, whether it's in the gym or running or athletically. But we do see people, that get to the point where they're like really not able to do those things, or people from the standpoint of like, they haven't been able to do those things for a while. And I mean, what we like to do is like, and kind of what we say we do is, take people from pain to high performance. So rather than just getting out of pain, we think there's plenty of other steps that we can help them. And we have that skill set to really, take them beyond what you would typically get with physical therapy, because we do have a strength and conditioning background and can really help people to kind of know where to go with those next steps. We also have great relationships with trainers. So if we're not, where their end goal is, and a lot of them are coming from gyms, so we're kind of getting them, staying in the gym while they're working through pain, and then getting back to that high performance where they want to be. So which is awesome to see.
What I find that just in my life, whenever I'm having a back issue or I'm having that, it's always something else that's tight. It's always this. My wife it's been a long time. I've known her to always have headaches.
Yeah.
Right. And she used to run. She used to, do that kind of stuff. And she never really got heavy into the weights. And she's not a big, she's skinny, but not a lot of muscle tone. And before, and then she started lifting weight. I said, listen, I think you're having these headaches. She's having like tension headaches coming up the back. I said, I think you're having these headaches because you don't have any muscle tone. You're not strong enough to hold your head up. And then what's doing there is straining the muscles.
Yeah.
And because your head's 13 pounds?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're straining the muscles to not, hold back your head and your posture and everything. So she starts working out. She starts doing some, shoulder presses. She starts working those muscles, doing the exercises, chin and, all that stuff. She doesn't have any headaches anymore.
Yeah.
And so just like you would think, she's having headaches forever. And right now, like, she doesn't have those headaches anymore. Every once in a while she gets a headache, but like she used to have them every day.
Yeah.
Now she doesn't even have them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Once a month. And so I just know that strength and getting ligaments stretched out and that stuff just leads to a much better life.
Yeah. I mean, they've done research. I mean, in our field, like they look at, general exercise versus like very specific physical therapy exercises.
Yeah.
For things like neck pain and headaches and low back pain.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, like we see good results with both, but we see similar results with general exercise versus very specific physical therapy exercise. So that's where I think, like just a lot of times just getting active and getting in the gym can solve a lot of problems. So sometimes it's hard to know when to start when you're in pain. So, and that's where we can kind of come in and help, for sure. But I mean, that's why a big reason why too, we kind of like progress more towards like getting to that point, because we know like, we probably don't need to do these specific physical therapy exercises forever. Yeah. But if we get you into a routine in the gym, that is something you can do forever. And that's something that you can take from this and really kind of incorporate it into your life long term. So
so everybody thinks that just coming to you guys and just working on that thing and being done when you leave, then that's it. Like, you don't have to do it anymore.
Right.
Like, you need to take these are learning exercises too for people. Like, you come in, you teach them how to, hey, listen, this is why your body's doing that. Maybe incorporate this into your daily life and you won't have these issues again, right? Just going, it's like homework, right? Yeah. But who did homework in school? Like, I didn't do homework, but I do exercises that I'm like, oh, okay, well, I need to do this. I need to stretch. I need to make sure I'm limber enough and I can do this. if you don't, you're going to get back into that same situation. Right. Because your daily activities without that lead to the pain. But then once you implement, you don't have any more pain.
Yeah.
Well, you have to keep implementing it. Right. You have to.
It doesn't stop at 6 weeks. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And so, no, it's just exciting. I love the body. I love how it works. I love, all of it, because you can literally change anything.
Yeah.
It's everything's connected.
Yeah, and I think there's always stuff to learn too. So I mean, I learn every day, something new, and I think it's that's one reason I like training in the gym, because I'm always learning something about myself. I'm always learning something new. Mm-hmm. But there's always different ways you can do things, or little tweaks, and I think just to make things work better for you, and especially your body changes a little bit as you get older, so there's some learning there to do too, or you might have to do things a little bit differently, or be a little more focused on your form or technique and how you're doing things to make it feel good for you. So which has been a learning experience for me too with my body. So
yeah, no doubt, and it's like, it's demoralizing it's humbling, should I say? It's not demoralizing. It's humbling to, when I worked out every single day and I was pushing in my early 20s, I was pretty strong. Yeah. And now I'm almost 40, and it's like, wow, how much I've lost just because I didn't do it. Yeah. I wasn't pushing, and it's hard. I go back to that time frame, and I was working with the guys on the team, right? Mm-hmm. And then once you leave that team aspect and then you're off by yourself, it changes. The dynamic changes. You don't have that guy that can amp you up. Or so hiring coaches, hiring people that know what's going on. Even what would you say the biggest thing that people come into your your business or your therapy office there, what would you say the biggest thing is? Is it knee pain? I don't know. Ankle? What is it?
I'd say, but right now, I'd say lower back pain or knee pain are kind of the most common things that we're seeing. Yeah.
So why? Why? What's the commonality with that?
Yeah, a lot of people we see are, I think it's just life. I think that's just kind of part of living. I think, we definitely see people that have pain with specific exercises that they're doing. Yeah. But we also see, the numbers looking at sedentary people, similar numbers with pain. Okay. And I think, so it's kind of one of those things where it's like, no matter what you do, you're probably going to be dealing with some issues where, being proactive and kind of continuing to stay active through it, I think is kind of the important thing. Mm-hmm. Because I think, it's really easy to stop doing something because you may have had pain doing it. Right. Doesn't always mean that's the thing that's causing the problem. Exactly. And so I think, there's lots of things that we talk about, and again, kind of lots of factors that go into each individual and why they're dealing with issues. Mm-hmm. But I think, I don't know if there's any specific one cause for any everybody's pain. But I think it is kind of the thing that we really strive is to either keep you doing what you want to do, mm-hmm. Rather than letting kind of getting into the medical system where you are going to be probably told to stop CrossFit. That's not good for you. Exercise is bad, right? So, or stop powerlifting, or stop running. All of these things are things we hear people being told every day. Right. And there's probably a bigger issue in this country with people not moving than moving and exercising that we need to deal with.
Man, that's I love that you said that, because all of them. Well, you better not do that anymore. Yeah. It's something I love to do. You're going to tell me I can't do this anymore? Get with somebody who knows what they're doing. Get with Alan here and talk to him. At least sit down with you, right? And say, hey, these are the issues that I'm having. I'm having knee pain. Well, it could be because your quads are too tight, or your hammies too tight, and it's pulling on this, or maybe I had shoulder pain at one point, and it was before I had the surgery, and it wasn't anything to do with the rotator cuff, but I was having muscle pain. I couldn't even get my arm up. And what it was is I went in and got with a physical therapist. I didn't go to the doctor, because I'm like, no, I don't need to go to him. I need to go to somebody who knows the body, right? That specializes on muscle, ligaments, how it all functions. and I couldn't diagnose it. And so he's in there and he's going in my armpit, and there's muscles that run in there that were just clenched up, right?
Yeah.
He was like, there it is. And I could feel it. It was just knotted up. And he was like, there it is, Kyle. And so we worked on that, right? And boom, it released.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy cow, I have motion back again. But it was all because of, muscle that was like locked in.
Right.
It wouldn't release. And it was, once we got that fixed, I was like, man, this is amazing, right? And so if I'd have gone to like a regular doctor, they'd have been like, well, you better stop lifting.
Yeah.
Take some ibuprofen.
Yeah.
There's nothing really we can do about it. Go get a massage, without specifically pinpointing, hey, what's the issue? How do we fix it? These are the exercises to release it.
Yeah.
And go that route.
Yeah.
So
right.
you see it every day. You
Yeah.
live this life every single day. You know exactly, okay, you come in with knee pain, we got to do X, Y, Z. We're gonna feel a little bit in here and see where everything's going. Did you have any injuries? Did this happen? Because muscles will lock, you know? They have like trauma, right?
Yeah.
And so they'll just lock in there and they won't move. And then it's pulling on something a little bit different, then you start to have pain. So I'm 100% behind the type of business that you do and being able to help people, move better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, we can see people without a referral. I think that's something that's kind of like a little bit different than people are accustomed to.
Yeah.
But in Virginia, it's something we can do. I mean, we're able to screen when people need to see a doctor. So if something is going on that, you might need some imaging, or it might not be coming from muscles or joints, right. That's something we send out.
Okay.
But I think most of us know the frustration of, waiting for a doctor's appointment, going into the doctor's office, and, it could be weeks or months before you really get treatment. And, we can start that right away. And, if it is something that, we can help you out with, it's probably going to be fixed by the time you really even get help otherwise.
Right.
So
tell me how like, if I'm a new client coming into your business and say I have some knee pain,
yeah.
What's the process of working with you? How's that work?
Yeah. So we pretty much start everybody with a free phone consult.
Okay.
And that's a place where we do a little bit of screening. So we just want to make sure people are the right fit for what we do. And that they're in the right place, so we're not wasting their time.
Right.
So we kind of go through what they're dealing with, talk to them a little bit about what we do, and our process. And then if it's a good fit, then we get them set up for an evaluation.
Okay.
Which is kind of in person, and just kind of a full kind of assessment at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll come in, then you'll do the assessment. Once you do the assessment, I'm sure you have like, hey, this is going to take X amount of time to fix. Are you committed to making that happen?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what we talk to people. I mean, we go through the evaluation, really want to kind of figure out exactly what's going on with them. So it's kind of, looking at them as a person, like how they move.
Right.
And then really kind of diving into, if it is shoulder pain, looking at the shoulder.
Right.
And then really getting a good understanding of exactly what's going on. And then we can, talk to them. Yeah, like this looks like this type of issue.
Right.
We're going to need to see you for this long, and really giving them a plan so that they can see, okay, like I'm going to start here. We're going to work on mobility. We're going to work on, these things initially, and then we're going to start to work towards basketball or towards throwing again,
right.
Things that they really want to do, so they can see that plan and really kind of see what it looks like. And we really kind of lay that out for them in that first session.
Nice. So they come in, they'll have a plan. Hey, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to get to your end goal of where we need to be. Hey, this is kind of the time frame that it's going to take as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think,
Nice.
That's what, where things can be different, but based on what we see, like we like to really give people a plan and really kind of see that path forward, and really allow them to kind of have an idea on like what they're looking at, and if it's something we think we can really help them out with, and really make like tremendous progress from where they're at. You know, sometimes things have been going on for a while, can take a while, and letting them know, like, we're not here for a quick fix. Like, yeah, we're going to be doing things that help you to feel better, but we want to look at long-term changes and really like look at changing where you're at now and where that baseline is to a much higher place, so that this isn't something you have to deal with forever.
Yeah. So long story short, pretty much all pain can be managed. That's what I'm getting, right?
Yeah.
All pain can be managed to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Right. There are some things, some extenuating circumstances and stuff. But if you're having pain in knees, ankles, stuff like that, and you're in fairly decent health, it's just imbalances in the body of things that you're having, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, a lot of times we'll see people with knee pain that, you know, had an old ankle sprain, and, you know, because they don't have proper ankle mobility, they're putting more stress on their knee, and it's not really a knee problem. It's we got to work on that ankle, or we're never going to get that knee better.
Right.
But that's why, again, we kind of take that approach of looking at you as a whole, looking at your history and things, because I mean, there's lots of things that can factor into pain, and again, kind of looking at all those factors and having the time to dive into that with people really helps us to get to what is driving that pain and really get a good game plan to get them to where they want to be.
Nice.
So.
Well, Alan, where can people find you?
Yeah, so we're on East High Street. It's 1326 East High Street in Charlottesville.
All right.
So
you have a Facebook page too?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page. It's Whole Strength _PT. We do throw some stuff on Facebook. We do a lot of our stuff on Instagram. Yeah,
okay.
So same at Whole Strength _PT.
Okay.
But we put up some cool content, rehab stuff, exercise stuff, and just, you know, just general health and fitness info on there. So
nice. So guys, if any of this resonates with you and you're having some issues, reach out to Alan, man. He knows his stuff. I've had conversations with him on and off camera here, and he knows what he's talking about. And it's a fresh, it's breath of fresh air that, like, hey, you know, there are a lot of things that you can do with the body that instead of just taking pills, there's so much more to relieve pain, to make you feel better, to, you know, have a more productive and fulfilling life by not taking anything.
Yeah.
You know, just eat some good food. And you go over that. Do you guys do anything with that? Do you talk about nutrition?
We do, yeah. I mean, you know, we definitely, you know, we're not nutritionists, but we you know, at our level of training, we've definitely had some nutrition background. So general recommendations, and we do refer to nutritionists when we feel like there's, you know, more need for that. So with different issues that people are dealing with.
Cool, man. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Alan, thanks for coming on today, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate
absolutely.
it. Thanks for sharing your wisdom and your business with us, and just helping people locally get and feel better.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we do. That's what we do, and that's our goal, is just to kind of help create a healthier community. So.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love your mission. I love what you're making happen over there, and I'm excited for more success comes your way, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, and until next week, we talk to local business owners making big things happen in the local community. So we will see you next week with another guest. I appreciate the follow.